Hey, math explorers! Today we're going to learn how to evaluate algebraic expressions. That means we'll take expressions with variables like 2x plus 5 and plug in numbers to find their value. It's like solving a mini puzzle using math rules. Let's learn how to substitute, simplify, and solve step by step here at Maestro Math Vortex Pi. As I said, we will substitute, simplify, and solve. Okay, now let us answer this first basic question. What do we mean when we say we need to evaluate? It actually means that when we say evaluate, that means an algebraic expression means to find its value. Okay? So when we say evaluate, that means an algebraic expression means to find its value. When we replace the variable, okay, we already know what a variable is in our previous video lesson, with a number. So let's kind of put a highlight on that or a line on that. Okay, let me just use my pen. Okay, let's erase that and let us use our pen. So when we say, hold on, when we say evaluate, okay, that means that an algebraic expression means to find its value when we replace the variable with a number. Okay, now we should remember that. Okay, now think, it says here, think of a variable like an empty box. So your variable, try to picture that as an empty box. It can change based on the problem. Now we all know what constants is. Constants stay the same, of course. Now let's have an example. Suppose we have, of course, 3x plus 4. So that is a good example. Okay. So let me repeat. We have 3x plus 4. Just like in our intro, we have 2x plus 5. But here we have 3x plus 4. Now, what do we mean when we have 3x plus 4? How do we evaluate that? Of course, let's try to review what we have learned in our previous video lesson. Um, of course, x here is our variable. Okay, so that is our variable. Okay, this is just a recap or review of what we already know from our previous math video lesson. So again, I would repeat, x is our variable. And of course, 3 is, let's try to replace this color. Okay, 3 of course is our what? 3 is our, okay, it's our coefficient. Coefficient. Okay. Yes, coefficient. Okay. Okay. We're just trying to review. Okay. So again, 3 is our coefficient. Yes. X is our variable. How about 4? Okay. Let's try to replace again the color of our ink. How about 4? Okay. Let's put an underline there. 4 is the constant. Constant. Okay. All right. So we know already, of course, the different parts of our mathematical expression. Okay. There's no equal sign, so it's not an equation, but rather an expression. Let me repeat that. There is no equal sign. So that means it's not an equation, but rather an expression. Yes. Okay. All right. So again, x is the variable, 3 is the coefficient. Yes. A 4 is the constant. Okay. Now, let us try to uh, let's try to picture what. Hold on. What this statement is trying to tell us. So it says here, think of a variable like an empty box. So we have here an empty box. Okay, it can change based on the problem. Constants stay the same. Okay, so it's like we remove already x, and instead of the variable x or letter x, we put an empty box. Probably we can assign any number here, right? In the empty box. Okay. All right. Let's move further. All right. Now let us have the step by step example on how to evaluate expressions. Okay. Algebraic expressions. Okay. So we have 3x plus 4. Let me repeat, 3x plus 4. So it says here, uh, when x is equal to 2, or when x equals 2, so what would be the value of our algebraic or mathematical expression, which is 3x plus 4? All right. Now, first, we'll actually have the step-by-step uh, uh, procedure here. So we will evaluate 3x plus 4, and that is when x is 2. All right. So the first step, okay. So the first step is, of course, we have to replace x with 2. Okay? Replace the first step, or step 1, is we have to replace x with 2, because that is the assigned value, okay, for x. The assigned value or number for x is actually 2. So, excuse me. The assigned value for x is 2. So you see, we already removed x there because it's already an empty box, right? So we will now put there 2. Yes, okay. So, okay. So we now have 3. Okay. So this actually implies multiplication, right? 3x. Remember in our previous lesson, that means we are multiplying 3 to whatever the value of x is. Let me repeat that. We are multiplying 3 to whatever the value of x is. Now, yes, whatever the value of x is. Now, since the value or the assigned value for x is 2, okay, we will have to multiply that to 3. Okay, plus 4. So, yes, it says there multiply. So, what is now 3 times 2? Of course, basically it's actually 6. 3 times 2, 3 times 2 is 6. Okay, 3 times 2 is 6. Plus 4, all right, that's step 2. Step 3, so what is now 6? Okay, 3 times 2, that would be 6. Yes. Oh, sorry. Did I say it right? Yes. 3 times 2. Yes. 3 times 2 is 6. Yes. Plus 4. So 6 plus 4 would now be equal to 10. Okay. Would now be equal to 10. So 3 times 2, that is 6. Plus 4, 3 times 2 is equal to 6 plus 4. That would now be equal to 10. Okay. So 3 times 2 equals 6 plus 4 is now 10. So The value of the expression is 10, and that is 100% correct. Yes. So 3 times 2, 6, plus 4, excuse me, plus 4 is 10. See, it's easy. All right. So that's the step by step process on how we actually evaluate algebraic expressions. All right. Next. Oh, this time we have to watch out for exponents. Okay. So says here, be careful with exponents. Okay, now let's try 2a squared, that's how you read it, 2a squared minus 5 when a is 3. Okay, when a is 3. Okay, okay, so we have our algebraic expression or mathematical expression 2a squared, excuse me, minus 5. Okay, so what is our first step? The first step is, of course, this time we remove the box already. We now have the parentheses, okay? So we will now, okay, plug in, okay? We will now plug in, okay? We will now plug in, okay, what do we do now? We will now replace. Sometimes we use the word plug in, sometimes we use replace. We will now replace A with 3. Why? Because that's the assigned value, right? The assigned value for A is 3. Okay. So that's why we replace A with 3. Okay. So, okay, so we now have, okay, we replace A with 3. Okay. All right. So we now have 2 times 3 squared minus 5. So that would be 2 times 3. Okay. I might forgot to say times 3. Okay. 2 times 3 squared minus 5. Okay. So step 2 is we have to deal with the exponent first. Okay. So we have to deal with the exponent first. All right. So when we say 3 squared, this means we do not multiply 3 by 2. Okay, that's wrong. Common misconception sometimes is we multiply the base to the exponent. Okay, or we multiply 3, which is actually the base to our exponent. That's not right. So the right way is, that means 3 times 3. All right. So 3 squared means 3 times 3. And what is 3 times 3? That would be 9. Okay, so that's why we have 9 there. Okay, because when we squared 3, we will have 9 because it means 3 times 3. That's 9. So we now have 2 times 9 minus 5. That is 2 times 9 minus 5. Okay, all right. Now the step 3 is, okay, let's erase this one. Erase this one. Okay. Now, okay, the next step is we now have to multiply 2. Okay, we should still remember our rule on PEMDAS. Okay, PEMDAS. Okay, what is this PEMDAS? We'll have a review of that, I think, in the next slide. Yes, probably. So basically, P stands for parentheses, E stands for exponent, M and D stands for multiplication and division, MD, and then AS stands for addition and subtraction. Okay, and you do it from left to right. Okay, so here we will now multiply. We have already deal with the exponent, right? Exponent first. So we will now do the multiplication. Okay. So what is 2 times 9? So 2 times 9, of course, is 18. Okay. 2 times 9, or 2 times 9 is 18, minus 5. And we go to our step 4. Step 4 would now be 13. Why is it 13? Because 18 minus 5 will give us 13. All right? So that is actually our final answer, 13. Now, let's try to review what we already know about PEMDAS and, of course, about exponents too. Okay? Now, so I already discussed this one. Okay? So what does it mean, or what does 3 squared? You read it as 3 squared. What does it mean? So it means 3 multiplied by itself. Yes. So that's why, yes, I already showed you this one. So 3 squared means 3 times 3 equals 9. So you don't do like this one. It doesn't mean like this. Okay. So 3 times 2 is 6. That is not correct. Okay. That is not correct. So it doesn't mean like that. So you don't multiply the base. You do not multiply the base to the exponent. So you'll have a wrong answer if you have done this process or mathematical process. This is not right. 3 squared doesn't mean 3 times 2, because again, you do not multiply the base to the exponent. So it means 3 squared means 3 times 3, and that is 9. That is the correct one. Okay? All right. All right. So let us remember also the rule on PEMDAS. Okay? Let's not forget about it. Of course, I know we have already studied that. Maybe sixth grade, I believe so. I am not so sure. With all humility, I would say we have come across this one maybe on fifth or sixth. Yes, so I'm not so sure about it. Okay, but anyway, let's just remind you that what does P stand for, or what does P stands for? It's actually parentheses. Okay, and then E stands for exponents. And then, of course, MD, already mentioned this too a while ago, means multiply or divide left to right. So this is the sequence that we need to follow, right? Okay, hold on. All right, so yes. So, yes. So MD is multiply or divide from left to right. Okay. And lastly, of course, is AS, which means what do you call this? Add or subtract. Addition or subtraction is also possible. Okay, add or subtract from left to right. Now, if we will always follow this order when simplifying expression. Okay, so always remember that we should always follow this order whenever we are simplifying expressions. So we remember PEMDAS, where P stands for parentheses, E stands for exponents, MD stands for multiply or divide from left to right, and then AS stands for add or subtract from left to right. I think there's also another term for this, like the BODMAS. We will go to that in probably in our next videos. Okay. Hold on. I think I know that like it sounds the same as PEMDAS. So we should always remember this whenever we are simplifying expressions. Okay. All right. So yes. Okay. So yes, it's BODMAS. So it's BODMAS rule. Yes. Okay. I think I'll just touch it in our you know, next video lesson, the BODMAS rule, or also known as PEMDAS 2. Okay? All right, so let's move on to the next one. Okay, this time it's your turn. Okay, so I want you to try these in 1 minute. So we have, for number one, we have 5x minus 7 when x is 4. Okay, so that's 5x. That is 5x minus 7 when x is 4. And then for number two, we have 6a minus 2b when a is 3 and b is 1. Okay, so I will give you 1 minute to try these mathematical expression. There's a given value for their variables, so I want you to evaluate. So if you have your paper and pencil, if you have your iPad or digital pen, you can actually do it right at this very moment. Okay, so that is when 5x minus 7. Okay, so okay, yes, 5x, that's number one. 5x minus 7 when, yes, 5x minus 7 when x is 4. And number two, 6a minus 2b when a is 3 and b is 1. Okay, I'll give you 1 minute to do to solve the following problems. Okay, remember what I just said a while ago. All you have to do is just simplify. Okay, let's go back to that. I kind of forgot. Remember what I told you in the introduction? It says there, substitute, simplify, and solve. That's all you have to do. Substitute, simplify, and solve. All right, so, okay. So I hope you're ready now because I'm going to give you, okay, 1 minute to solve the problem. All right, so let's start. Okay, hold on. Let me just, okay, let me just, okay, sorry about that. Uh, do we go from arrow? Okay, I think I'll just use my mouse for this one. Okay, all right. All right, time's up. Okay, so now I hope you're ready. Yes, I hope you are because we will now answer the following problems that I ask you to solve. And I do believe you have understood what do you call this? You have understood how to answer these problem based from the examples we have given, the step-by-step examples that we have given you in the previous slides. Okay, so let us now do it together. Okay, you may check if you got the correct answer in your if you're watching, if you have your paper and pencil or your ipad or digital pen, you can check it. Okay, so let's try number one. Okay, so let us try number one. Okay, so for number one, we have 5x minus 7. That is our mathematical or algebraic expression, 5x minus 7. So all we have to do Okay, we have to replace x. What is the assigned value for x? Okay, it's 4. Okay, there you go. So we plug in 4, or we just substitute 4. Okay, so what is now 5 times 4? That would be 20. Yes, 5 times 4 is 20, minus 7. Of course, what is 20 minus 7? That would be 13. Okay, that is our answer. Okay, did you get it right? Yes, I believe you got it right. Okay, so the answer is 13. Okay, 13. Yes, okay. That is the value of our expression 5x minus 7. All right. Next, which is 13. That's the value of the expression. 13 is the value of the expression 5x minus 7. Okay, how about for number 2? Okay, so we're done with number 1. All right, so do we need to erase this one? I think so. I believe so because it's kind of yes, it's I think we don't have any more space, right? So let's erase this one. All right, so let's check number 1. That means we're done with it. Okay, how about number 2? So for number 2, we have 6a minus 2b. All right, so what do we do? 6a minus 2b. So 6 times, okay, we're going to replace a. What is the assigned value for a? That is 3. Yes, there you go, right? That is 3, okay? That's the assigned value for a is 3, okay? So we replace a with 3 minus 2. What is the assigned value for b? What is the assigned value for b? That is 1. It's right there, right? Okay. So now, by observing, of course, PEMDAS, we will now simplify, right? Okay. So what is now 6 times 3? Okay, 6 times 3, oh, excuse me, 6 times 3 is actually 18. 6 times 3 is 18 minus what is, okay, or what is 2 times 1 is 2. Okay, so we will now have we will now subtract 2. Yes, subtract 2 from 18. All right. Okay, so subtract 2 from 18. What is 18 minus 2? That would now be 16. All right. So that is now our answer. You see, it's actually easy. It's like solving a mini puzzle, right? But this time, it's like applying a math rules. It's not like, but it is actually applying math rules. Yes. So 18 minus 2, of course, is 16. All right. So 16 is actually the value of the expression 6a minus 2b. All right. So, see, it's very easy, right? Okay. So, let's go to the next one. All right. So, let us have now one final challenge. Okay. And let's try to evaluate 2 times x plus 3 when x is 1. All right. So let us have the one final challenge. Evaluate 2 times x plus 3. Yeah, because this parentheses actually means multiplication, right? Yes, so evaluate 2 times x plus 3 when x is 1. Let me repeat it again. Evaluate 2 times x plus 3 when x is 1. All right. Now, maybe I will give you again a 1 minute to do this uh, to do this problem. Okay. Let's begin. Oh, sorry. Let me just click this one. Okay, my pen is not a turn off. Okay. All right. 1 minute. All right. Time's up. Time's up. All right. Now let's answer it together. Okay. So, yes, let's answer it together. And again, I hope you will check your answers as we answer it together. Okay. In this video lesson. Okay, so what do we do first? Of course, by observing PEMDAS, right? Okay, so let's activate our. Remember, all you have to do is just what was that? All you have to do in our introductory slide tells us that all we have to do is substitute, simplify, and solve. Substitute, simplify, and solve. Yes, that's true. All right, so let us now go to our one final challenge. Yes. Okay, so yes. All right. So what do we do here? Of course. Okay, let's write our solution. Okay, let's activate our pen again. All right. So we have our solution. Okay. Okay. So what do we do here? Of course, the assigned value for x is 1. Okay, so all we have to do is just replace x with 1. Okay, so we have 1 plus 3. Sorry about that. 1 plus 3. Okay, remember in the PEMDAS, we have to deal with the parentheses first, right? So bring down 2. What is 1 plus 3? That would be 4. Okay, and then we multiply. Okay, we go now to m, multiply. All right, what is 2 times 4? That is now 8. All right, so that is the value of the x. That's now the value for the expression 2 times x plus 3. Okay, yes. So 8 is the value for the expression algebraic or mathematical expression 2 times x plus 3. All right. All right. That is when x is 1, of course. All right. So I hope we had fun in this math video lesson. Yes. And yes, great job. Of course, we did a great job. And thanks for learning with Maestro Math Vortex. Till next time, we'll actually take up a notch and learn how to combine like terms. So, in our next video lesson, we will be doing or we will learn on how to combine like terms. Again, to my viewers and my audience, please don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell button for you to subscribe and to get notification, and keep mastering math one vortex at a time. Until next time, and see you. God bless.